And this Hangout on Air is live. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to see all of you there. I don't see you, but I know you're there and you're watching. And welcome to Virtual Jug. We're continuing our epic journey with technical Java sessions about Java, software engineering, and everything provided to you locally through the magic of YouTube and Google Hangouts. And I'm extremely happy to announce the session. And without further ado, we should start with the Java Puzzlers Volume 2.
Yay!
Welcome, everyone. We have 2 speakers today, and I'm going to show a couple of slides before we get into that. And in the slides, there will be some organizational information. So let me share my screen. You can see it here. And now you should be able to see the slides. Excellent. So welcome to Virtual Java User Group. Today's session is going to be Java Puzzlers NG Season 2, Down the Rabbit Hole. And we have 2 excellent speakers, and you've seen them at Virtual Jug before. And in 2016, they even won the V-Juggernaut Award for one of the most watched sessions. Please welcome Baruch Sadogursky.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for being with us. I hope there are a lot of you. I know there are a lot of you, and it's great to be here.
Excellent. You can follow Baruch, who is a developer advocate for JFrog, and he goes in the internet by JBaruch. So we can find
And I'm a very interesting guy, so you should follow me as soon as possible.
Yep.
Simon, don't giggle. You have no idea how many followers this line brings.
That's fantastic. And
always have one more.
Our second speaker.
It was my line. I was supposed to say this.
You can say it as well.
You can hear it here already.
People, you know that people can actually follow more than one person.
Yeah, I know.
Extremely strong Java developer working for Confluent currently, the company behind Kafka. And please welcome Viktor Gamov.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hello, Internet. Coming at you from beautiful Dallas, Texas today.
Excellent. Is it sunny there? Estonia is envious or maybe jealous. So you can follow Viktor in Twitter. He goes by @Gamusa, and he's an extremely interesting person with tons of opinions on everything. As usual, Virtual Jug is sponsored by Zero Turnaround, so massive thanks to them. We have a media partner, Zero Turnaround's blog called Rebel Labs.
And you should definitely check it out. It's an awesome resource for all kinds of wonderful reading about everything Java, and not only. By all means, go there.
Thank you so much, Baruch. This is everything. So if you are into Java development, you should check out the tools that Zero Turnaround provides for Java developers. One is JRebel that you might know of. It allows you to reload the code changes instantly. And then there is XRebel, which is the performance tool for Java web apps. Just recently, we announced XRebel Hub 1.0 release, which is an APM and a tool that works with XRebel excellently. It's an APM for development and tests. So if you're interested in performance, but you don't know where to start, those tools you should check out. Extremely easy, great feedback. People love it. So this Virtual Jug, we have the official Slack for the Virtual Jug, and we will tweet the link. The link is in the description of the YouTube video as well. You should join that, the channel live session. This is where we're gonna vote for the answers to the puzzles. We're gonna discuss them, and this is where the live communication happens. Viktor and Baruch are there already as well, so you can ask questions from them. Please share this group and the session as well, because we're gonna continue in the future. If you have any feedback, please tweet at us at VirtualJug or at Shalaev. And we'll be happy to jump on that and answer any complaints or just get better. So without further ado, let's go into the Java Puzzlers and let's see
let's share the slides. Let's share the slides. Here you go. Oleg, please make sure you pin the slides, because when Viktor will talk, we will see his wonderful face instead of the really useful stuff.
Excellent. I can see your screen, Java Puzzlers NG S02. You were pinned. You are presenting to everyone. And
this is awesome. So yeah, let's do. Did you notice the clever background that I used? I wish the quality was better, but at least I tried. Okay. Yeah, so this is us already presented by this guy Oleg, who is our host today, and thank you very much again for having us. It's actually a great honor to speak at Virtual JAG. Not a lot of people are that lucky, so thank you again. We will try not to disappoint and deliver the same level of good content as last year.
Yes, exactly. This is what I wanted to also add, that who make this session, our session from last year, is one of the top 10 most watchable sessions at the Virtual JAG.
He already
so
said
it was
that.
incredibly most watchable session for 2017 as well.
All right, yeah, we will do that. And Oleg, you already introduced us, so I'll skip whatever is on the screen, except for the fact that both of us are very interesting guys to follow. We are standing on the shoulders of giants, which is a nice way to say that we actually stole their idea. And those guys, of course, you know by now, it's Josh Block and Neil Gaffner, two of the founders of Java. They came with this format, and we just use it as they unfortunately abandoned it some years ago. Most of the contributions for this season came from this guy, Tagir Valeev, who is an extremely talented developer and does a great job in everything Java related. You can just, the perfect reflection of his relationship to Java is his Stack Overflow profile. You know, skyrocketing reputation, gold badges in Java, Java 8, Java Stream, and what's not. This is just awesome, and he actually contributed most of the puzzlers just because he works for for another great company, JetBrains, on a great idea called IntelliJ IDEA. He does the inspections. He works on inspections there, and it's kind of natural that he is the master of puzzlers, because his work is basically, people say, why this crap that I wrote wasn't highlighted as a warning or error in IntelliJ. So when he hears something like that, he actually does two things. He creates a new inspection to mark it as warning or error for next time, and he contributes a puzzle to the Java puzzlers. Another important contributor is Sergey Kuksenko, as you can see, also a very high-profile speaker. He works on performance tuning in Oracle, on the JVMs that we love and hate, like Oracle and OpenJDK. We also had contributions from Cedric Champeau, who works in Gradle and worked really hard on implementing Java 9 to work seamlessly in Gradle. And we will have some Java 9 puzzlers as well. We have much more of Java 9 puzzlers already in the makings in our season 3 that we are working on building now. So season 2 is just a light touch on Java 9. With that, couple of rules of how we roll. Yeah.
Virtual Java user group is our kind of endpoint of the season. So that's why.
And that's for that's for a reason, right? You want to be surprised by puzzlers, but after we do it in Virtual JAG, literally all the world know the puzzlers a couple of days after, because it goes viral on the internet and everybody tweet about it.
Exaggerating. Yes, Baruch is not exaggerating. This is exactly what happens in the world.
So it's kind of, they become kind of useless, and this is what we close our season with Virtual JAG. So the rules are the following: two entertaining guys on the screen, and you can see one of the entertaining guys and hear the other at least. Funny and puzzling questions, but they're proven to be both funny and puzzling by doing this session all over again. So we're all good. Now, as opposite to other Virtual JAG sessions in which you watch and maybe occasionally ask a question or two in the Slack channel, puzzlers are extremely
interactive, and they will require your involvement.
Yeah. In an interactive session, and it requires a lot of your involvement. So if you are still not in the Virtual JAG Slack, and we see here almost 1,700 people who are, but if you are not one of them, please join us. And the link is, I think, where it is, Oleg, the link?
The Slack channel?
Yeah.
The link to the Slack channel is in the description of the YouTube video, and I'm tweeted that from the virtual jug handle. So I'm going to do that again, and I'm going to retweet on all the accounts that I have access to. So either check Twitter or go check the YouTube video description and join the Slack.
Awesome. So thank you very much. Please join the Slack because you will have to vote. Otherwise, it's not very, very interesting.
And
we have
question, where the people need to go in what particular group in the Slack?
It's a live session channel.
Okay, now you know.
Yeah, no, that was a great clarification. We have two official Twitter hashtags. One of them is Java Puzzlers NG, and the second is VJug. Now, since, as Viktor mentioned, it is the closing run of the puzzles, feel free to share the puzzles on the internet as well, together with all the praises and the compliments you want to give us, Java Puzzlers NG and VJug. You are in front of a computer and you probably have your IntelliJ IDEA open. Do not use it to verify our puzzlers.
Just go ahead and close it. Do not exercise temptation. Just go close it.
Right. Let's make it fun for everybody, including you, surprising and as it was designed. Right. So let's start with the first question to kind of test how the voting works and have some clue of how many of you are actually intend to vote. So the first question will be the first puzzler or not puzzler. The first test of the voting will be which version of Java are you on? How about Java 7? Simon, how do we do that?
Do we have any
prepared questions? Who can open the poll?
Yeah, we have a poll that Oleg can probably type straight into the live session.
Yeah. I'm typing straight in the live session. So if you just give me the answers,
I need to give you the answers. Okay, so I have to reveal all the answers first. So here they are: Java 7, Java 8, obviously Java 9, and here you would expect Java 10 to be, but it's actually Java 6. Surprise! Java 5. Java 2, and I think we ran out of options. That's all.
As a matter of fact, Java 10 is also available, and
four answers.
Oleg was tweeting about this yesterday as well.
So right. So no, but we know the only guy who is on Java 10, and I guess he's not here, so that's fine. We will count his voices as well.
So far, and that's the votes coming in. Something like 20 people are on Java 8. 1 is at Java 7. None for others. I didn't type Java 5 and Java 2 into the poll, but
all right. Okay. So
Java 8
we have
everyone.
So out of 1,700 people in the room, we have like 22 people voting. 23. Yep. Well, I would call it mixed results, right?
Yes.
Probably call it otherwise. But
we test that communication, we test technology, so we're good. I guess they will join
later
as we go through the process.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, we'll be optimistic and hope that people will enjoy. By the way, Oleg, if you want to obtain a previous presentation of Java Puzzlers and typing in questions, that will probably be more efficient. I hope our animated GIFs work well on YouTube because they are funny as hell and we have tons of them. But generally, this is kind of what you should expect.
Excellent. It works.
Okay, awesome. Everything works or doesn't work in the latest Java 8 or Java 9 update as expected and as designed. And with that, I guess if you're ready, we should start. Viktor, are you ready?
I was born ready.
You were born.
I'm Ron Swanson.
Yeah, you were born ready. So I guess you want to start?
Yes. So since we have a some sort of roots in the past. We can talk a little bit about a very popular topic these days in the news, how the Russian hackers are everywhere in the world and they hack in everything. But we start with something really, really simple, like how the Russian hackers will hack the bank.
And those are two anonymous guys that we have no clue who they are.
Yeah, absolutely no idea. And that's why because their faces are hidden in hoodies. So
and there are no clues on who they are. Yep.
So yes, in this snippet of code, we model bank robbery. So and in your perfect bank robbery, you need to couple steps. You need to instantiate your bank robbery, and we take all money, and after that we're checking the balance. And in this particular case, in this example, in this puzzler, we're using a very popular class from JDK called a semaphore. And using the semaphore, we will simulate a behavior of bank account. As you can see, take all money will drain all permits in semaphore. As you can see in the very beginning, we instantiate the semaphore with negative number of permits. When we take all money, we will drain all permits. And after that, we want to check available permits are available there by calling a check balance and method. So, and my question to you, Baruch, in this perfect robbery, so what would be a result?
Well, so first of all, I'm looking at the slides and kind of my eyes, the code in my eyes bleed a little because you're actually mapping a bank system on Java concurrency semaphores. That's the sickest thing I saw all morning. And
you already showed the GIFs to our audience, so that's why they start kind of imagining the faces that other people will have when they see this code. So yes, be prepared. There will be more.
Right, and so I guess I will want to show to see the answers before I make my pick. So let's talk about that. Illegal argument exception can create semaphore with negative.
Yes.
Well, I'm not sure about that. Kind of semaphores doesn't make sense where they are negative, right? I need to obtain permits, so I need pool of permits for that. So it's kind of maybe that's a good option. Unsupported operation exception can drain with negative. That also makes sense. If I already have a negative semaphore, which kind of weird, how can I drain from something that does not exist? 0, that will be a really weird one. Or minus 42.
You think it's 0 weird one, but minus 42, I think it's more weirder.
Yeah, no, so minus 42 doesn't make any sense at all. It's look like drain permits. No, you know what? Actually, minus 42 does make sense. Thinking about it, you cannot, if it is allowed to create a negative semaphore, when you drain from negative, it remains negative because drain is taking something out of it, and we are already below 0. So you know what? I make a crazy assumption. I will assume that semaphore can be negative, and then minus 42 is my vote. So I personally vote for D, and I'm going to do that in our Slack channel.
As you remember, in your in Slack channel, you will see a poll, so you need to vote, and we will give you just 2, 1, and in this case, I will see what's the most popular answer. So for illegal argument exception, we have 5 votes. For unsupported operation exception, 6. Okay. Now we have an unsupported operation exception 1. We have 2 people who voted for 3, which is 0, and we have minus 42. Looks like Baruch is a very credible person and well known in Java community as an expert on. So in this case, the people followed his advice, and they've minus 42 more and more. Okay, great. The actual answer.
And the correct answer is
0.
Really?
It's 0. Yes.
I mean,
and
0.
This is perfect robbery, right? So 0. And as you can see, 6 people stop voting because it doesn't. It's not really fair because we already revealed the right answer. So this is perfect. This is perfect demonstration.
Okay,
of,
so now is the fun part. Now it's the fun part. In our chat, in our channel live session, can someone give a briefest description of why of the people that voted 0 of why 0 is the right answer? Let's see if that works.
While people type, I can try.
Yeah, no, Oleg, you go ahead,
0.
by all means.
I thought it was 0, but I voted -42 because you said it's -42.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Next time I'm going to be smarter and just go with my. I mean, if we drain the permits.
Okay, so what's the crazy idea about this? Why it's 0? Okay, go.
No, because there are just no available permits. Because an available permit is when the semaphore value is higher than 0, right? Positive, because you can like take a permit. And when there are negative permits, there are none. So no permits means 0. And like I didn't go with exceptions because it just didn't make sense for the code snippet to be.
It's still okay. So let me explain real quick. Slide. So basically, you kind of very close. And here's the thing. So read documentation, and you can find is that semaphore actually you can instantiate a semaphore with negative number of permits. And if you think about
all
this,
the illegal exceptions are not relevant anymore. Yep.
Thinking about this, it kind of makes sense. You can use the semaphore to simulate situation when you're actually waiting something. So you don't have any semaphores, but you're waiting that someone kind of will
release permits before you can do anything else. Yep.
So in this case, kind of you can simulate the situation like a barrier or something like that. And what drain permit says in documentation, so it actually requires and returns all permits that are immediately available. So in this case, you're right. So there's a -42 available permits, but as you can see, as you kind of logically thinking, it might be -42, but actually it doesn't actually think it is. So this is why it actually gives a 0 number. It's just a.
So if you ask me, I strongly believe that it's a bug, if not in implementation, at least in documentation, because when they say returns all available permits, and we have negative value of permits, which means we don't have any available permits, it shouldn't go to 0 because it does the opposite. It kind of adds permits from -42 to 0. It added 42 permits when it actually shouldn't. So for me, I would say that it's a bug in implementation.
But we actually
even
ran this. We actually ran this thanks to Sergey Kuksenko. We ran this by
Doug Lee.
And
Doug Lee basically said,
"It's by design.
I'm fine with that." Yeah, I'm fine with that. So
what's the use case for having negative permits?
Oh, that's easy, right? You can have multiple. You can have a situation. Well, permit is not an actual thing, right? Permit is just a virtual like number, and you can select that you deposit permit. You can choose to deposit permit based on a logic. So you might design a system in which you first need to deposit permits before something else happens. Does it make sense?
You need to execute some action, but before that, you need to sort of like wait. It's kind of stretch, but it is also available. You need to wait for certain events happen. So they will deposit permits before some sort of action will check your semaphore, and all deposit permits are. It's kind of this is a lot of reverse logic that we're going to be using in this season, because for example, in Russia, we have a double, we can use the sentences with double negative statements. So it's one of the easy example when, you start with something negative because you're waiting for some events to happen. This event will deposit permits, and after that, when there will be 0 permits, you can execute some sort of
not
action.
0 when you have positive permits that you can drain, that you can take. Yep. No, it's actually the negative permits make a lot of sense. There are a lot of use cases in which you say, before I can do that, I need something else to happen, and this something else wasn't initiated by the same semaphore. So that's basically the logic. It's pretty straightforward and makes a lot of sense. Okay, so now it's my turn, and
Yes.
I'm going to ask you about singletons, not the ones that we drink, because it's like 9:30 a.m. here, so I prefer not to think about booze for another hour or something.
5 p.m. somewhere, so don't worry.
Okay, yeah, no, but we're going to talk about singletons that we write. And here's a simple question for you, Victor. Collections, empty list, collections, empty iterator are very, very old structures. I think they are with us starting from Java 1.2, Java 2, which makes it like, more like 20 years. My question to you, are they an effective singleton? And by that, it means will the first sentence and or the second sentence return true? And the options are, I'm covering all of it for you, making it very easy for you. True, 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 false, false, true, and false, false.
Okay, so clearly there's no exceptions here. So clearly you don't have to even iterate this, because every Java developer knows that, it's pretty much the same. So it's going to be true, true.
Okay, so go ahead and vote. I still don't see your vote.
Oh, okay,
no,
so I go there.
Oleg, no, that's not you. Until I see your vote, I don't believe you. Viktor Gamov, here we go. All right, okay. Well, I don't think there is any reason to wait any longer, because the right answers accumulate quickly, and of course it is true. And you would actually say, so where is the puzzler?
Yeah, where's the puzzler, Baruch?
Go ahead and say, yeah, where's the puzzler, Baruch?
Where's the puzzler?
Thank you. And the puzzler is right here. Java 8 added two new structures. First is split iterator, which is kind of iterator on steroids, and the other is stream, of course, the stream that we all know and like and sometimes hate.
Yes.
And those two have those empty factory methods as well. Empty split iterator for split iterator and empty for stream. So the same question, the same set of answers. Go ahead and give it a try this time.
Okay, so the split iterators and streams appeared in Java 8, and basically split iterator is another type of iterator. So I assume the same behavior will be inherited, and because we know and love Java for backward compatibility, so it's clearly for the second one, it's going to be true as well. So for the streams, so let me think about this. So stream itself is a representation of collection. So since we can create empty collection, we can easily create empty stream. So I don't see, again, the puzzler here, and because in the previous slide, you showed me that there's empty collection is a singleton, so empty stream is also singleton. So I will stick to answer A. So I will go ahead and vote for this one in our live chat.
This is also.
It is surprisingly complicated. People are very divided on this answer.
Yeah. So the right answer, the votes are all over. For 1, 2, and 3.
Like a
4 is not very popular, but also no. I'll just review and answers here. And I would say that we are here almost in a tie, right? We have the same amount of people for A, B, a little bit more for C. Now it's much more for C. So I would say the crowd voted C. False, true. And that's, of course, a completely wrong answer. The right answer is true, false. And while we watch how the singleton strikes back, I will ask for someone who voted number 2 to give a brief explanation of why they think it is number 2. And let me bring the code back so you will be able to reason about it.
Oleg,
I will
Simon?
give it like, yeah, guys. Oleg, Simon, any ideas why it's B?
Well, the split iterator, like I voted true because I trust Java developers until Java 9 with backwards compatibility of equality operators. And split iterator is just like iterator, so it should be true for the first one, and then stream. An empty stream, I don't know. Like the only reason for that is to have some sort of internal state for not having like equal empty strings, but I cannot imagine what that is.
Oleg,
all right, okay, no, you're halfway there.
If it would be, yeah, if it would be, you know, the live session,
not parallels?
No, you're actually right. You mentioned about this.
All right, no, but we have a winner. We have a winner in the channel. We have a winner in the channel, and this is Caesar TL, if I pronounce correctly your first name, and I don't know what TL stands for. And the correct answer is yes, streams have state. And the state are actually, so Caesar mentioned one of them, but there are actually two pieces of state for stream. First is on close handler. You can attach a handler to it, and obviously if you do an empty stream in singleton and attach the handler to one of them, all your empty streams will have the same behavior on close, which probably not what you wanted to do. And the second piece of stream, it's exactly what Cesar said, stream can be consumed only once. So this flag, whether the stream was consumed or not yet, is also a piece of a state that need to be saved with the instance of the stream, and that's why streams in no way can be singletons, even if they are empty.
So difference between streams in collection, the stream is actually is not a collection. It's not data. It's not data type or like a data container. Stream is a special type of representation of a sequence of steps that it can operate over your stream of or like sequence of data, and it means that even if it's empty stream, this is not empty collection, and it's not empty singleton. So streams is always have a state, and stream is always it's one-off, so you cannot reuse the stream. There's something that.
Okay, Victor, go ahead. This is kind of us, right?
Yes, again.
In a very sick manner. All right.
Yes, I'm still waiting for a slide to load. Looks like I have some intermediate interruption. Can you? Yeah. So in this case, again, we continue to do our bending our logic and you know, changing the way how we saying or you thinking about the things. So, and we have this notion of identical something. So, and this is kind of our premise for next puzzler. So for identical, we think the object has the same state. So identical might not be related to any equals or hash code contract. So forget about the things that you remember from the effective Java book, and but they also not related to reference to object in memory. So I think it's a good example here. If you ever work with, you know, some sort of like a systems, distributed systems, and you store the objects in different nodes of your application, you might know that after serialization, that would be not the same objects. This is why number 2 and number 3 will not be applicable here, but it has the same state, and the object actually has the same like set of properties and the values, etc., etc. So after I already over confuse you, so let me go to the puzzler.
Yeah, so let me try to simplify it just a little bit. Only for the sake of the puzzler, forget what Java contract means for identical. It's not the same. It's not related to equals and head code. It's not related to equals check. It's just two objects which look alike from the outside and from the inside, right?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So here's the code. And okay, so this is a confusing one. We have an array. It looks like Groovy list, but it's actually not. It's actually an array of lists, and we need to be very careful here. So we construct a new array of lists in size of 2. Oh boy, this looks like.
I'm asking you this puzzler.
Yeah, no, but I'm all reading through the code that you show me. And then we populate both of them using the new Java 8 set all method that get an array from one side and a lambda that populates this array as a second parameter, and then we populate both of them with new array lists. Do I get it right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, so answers. Absolutely identical empty lists, absolutely identical not empty lists, non-identical empty lists, non-identical
like
non-empty lists.
Totally same way as you providing your answers: true, 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 false, true, false, true, and false, false. So in this case, you have all covered situation. Now,
oh, this is
again,
awesome. Yeah.
Yes, please, please. And I guess people who are watching us online, they need to go and vote for this and ahead and cast your vote.
Oh, I think this code is so straightforward that there is no puzzler here. Probably there is puzzler that coming after, as I did to you, like two-step puzzler, the smart one. So I will go with the obvious answer just because I cannot think of any problem here. So it will absolutely definitely will be number one.
Number A.
Yeah, A, which is number one in our poll in the Slack channel. Should we give it a couple of more seconds, I guess?
Couple more seconds, yes. People are adding their votes. And
the votes are coming, and people think it's either identical empty lists or non-identical empty lists. So A or C mostly.
Okay.
I'm personally divided on this issue. So
what's your knowledge of Java and experience over years? What are you leaning to? So what's your personal favorite?
Yeah, Oleg, I don't think I see your answer, do I?
You don't. I'll go with the crowd. It's
non-identical
empty lists.
All right.
The reason for that is very simple, if I may say. I really want
to wait for it. We will ask you.
Let's do actual result.
Okay, so let's give it.
And the result is C, and most of you got it right.
Yes.
And now Oleg will be a good time to explain why you voted C.
Well,
you said you have some freaky idea, please.
Yeah. Well, because we provide the constructor, so it just makes sense to run the constructor like again and again to fill every slot in the.
Oh no, absolutely. But what are the results? I mean, what do you get the result of the constructor? Aren't they identical empty lists that you get out of the constructor?
No, you get a new array list and then a new array
list. Right, and they are identical. They are absolutely the same. Guys, feel free to start reasoning in the channel why you voted C. Two different objects. That's fine. Oh, you see, Victor, our disclaimer just didn't work. I think it was too long. That's fine that there are two different options. The objects. The question is, what is the difference between them? Aren't they identical when they are just two new empty lists? Why you voted for them not being identical?
It gets an index, and with the index it provides the capacity. So the first array.
Give this guy a T-shirt.
That's like the only thing that could be different is this example. So
he's a professional. He knows how to apply like functional paradigms into Java 8 and monads and all the category theories. Of course, he knows this stuff. Okay, so the idea here is that with the setAll method, accept two parameters that you will instantiate, and the second one is a generator function. That function, or your factory method, that will be used to execute the value. And one important thing is that it function accepting an index of the object. So if you of the element in the array that you want to generate, for some reasons you want to do this. So what happens here in our code? So the array list constructor will be used as a generator function, but array list constructor accept initial capacity. So what we're having here, we're having a two arrays with the 0 and 1 capacity.
Right. So this one was particularly tricky because we just got lucky or unlucky in finding a matching constructor in the released. If the released class didn't have the constructor that receives an integer, it of course wouldn't even compile. But just by sheer luck, there is this obscure constructor that no one knows about and no one uses that accepts initial capacity. And of course, this is the constructor that get called. Now you can think about fun situations in which you have thousands of or millions of objects being created with ever-growing capacity, and of course, this is how you get out of memory.
Yes. So if you doing this with bigger things, you will just have multiple arrays with just allocated memory, and that's it. All right. So throw me something, Baruch.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about single abstract method interface. And so the question is kind of on the title. I will ask you how single is the single abstract method interface, and I will do it by showing you some code. So
yes,
you can see here an interface called single, and that's probably a very happy single interface because this is what singles do. They party hard and they drink in. So this interface has 4 methods, as you can see. 2 of them party hard, 2 of them drink in, 2 of them typed, and 2 of them generalized with the type T of the interface. And then I have interface which extends this interface, and it's called single and happy. It extends single, gives the parameter type, which is string, and I put an annotation functional interface on it. And now the question is, what is going to happen?
Let me ask first question. Oleg, are you single? I know you're single.
I'm
you
not
have a girlfriend
single.
though. You have a girlfriend though. But like, this is what the single people doing right now, right in real life.
Perhaps I don't have the first-hand experience for a couple of time units. So, but I think this is pretty reasonable to party hard, work hard.
Okay. So, yeah, Baruch, sorry for interrupting you in the place and all this.
I don't know why you put Oleg in such a hard place. He's a nice guy. Why are you so mean? Look back at the code. Look, no, you don't. Look at the code and tell me what do you think about this crap. So, does it even make sense?
You don't need to even continue. I will take with A.
Yeah, no, that makes the most sense, right?
This is totally gibberish, and it's just a single abstract method. It needs to be just one.
Yeah. Right, and other options is everything works just fine without the party hard. Problem is with drinking, we remove one of them and everything works, or everything will work just fine because both party hard and drinking are merged in a single and happy, and since party hard have a default implementation, we only left with one abstract method, which is drinking.
Horrible. This is horrible and extremely complicated. No, it's just A. It's not supposed to even work. So I already cast my vote in.
You are the only vote. I think we lost most of the audience here.
Single vote.
I just think there is very little that he can come up with. It's a hard question.
It's a hard question, and again, it's
we only do hard questions.
Yes.
Except when we're doing easy questions. Okay, so yeah, this one is hard. We only get a handful of votes, but here Oleg voted, so I think Oleg, your vote kind of signals for us that we can move forward and just take whatever it takes. Now, interestingly enough, most of the people actually vote for it will work fine, and of course, they are all wrong. Because the correct answer is B, number 2 in the poll, and we have 1 vote. Andrew Glassman voted for the correct answer, and it might be that he just guessed, or if he had any idea. Andrew, please go ahead by all means and explain to us why it is B, because otherwise
what's the problem with party, right? What's the problem with party?
We will have Otherwise, we'll have to put even more pressure on Oleg, and we would hate to do that.
Well, we have some explanation. So Bazlur Rahman says multiple non-overriding abstract methods found in interface. I need to parse this phrase again. Multiple non-overriding abstract methods found in interface.
Yeah, so
I
have a lot of questions for Balzur. One of them, why they are not merged if they have the same signature. Since single and happy is of type string, everything should be merged together, and then we actually end up with one interface. When the generic is replaced, you'd have a conflicting method saying Andy Glassman, the guy that actually answered for voted for the correct answer. So let me take it through it. Of course, the knowledge of the source of all truth in the Java world is the Java language specification. And paragraph 9.4.1.3, which all of you probably studied recently and refreshed your memory on, as every one of you do every week before going into a weekend. This paragraph said, it is possible for an interface to inherit several methods with overriding equivalent interfaces. And that's actually great. But you cannot do that for a default method. So the abstract methods will be merged to one and work just fine, but you cannot merge an abstract method with a default method, and that's exactly the problem. So I guess I'll keep my virtual t-shirts for me this turn, and I'll give it back to Viktor to speak about more Russian hackers.
Hackers are trying to strike back, and this time they already learned that semaphore maybe not the good thing, so they will do we'll stick with the. So we know that the software in banks, I know this from hand, work in the field for quite some time, and the software in banks are written in Java, which is nice and great. So we can hack into it, and in Java, what could be easier? And after that, let's analyze the accounts and find the richest account and steal the money from them, right? This is a logic of the Russian hackers, and I'm just we're not related to Russian hackers to any point. So in this particular case, we're using the hash set list of richest people, including Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg. And after that, we're giving a list of accounts to analyze, so we can stick with them, and we'll start to hack them. So very careful in understanding of this question. So which statement is wrong? Set is ordered by hash code. It's number one.
This is true.
Which is yes. B, order is predictable across multiple runs of the JMEM on the same machine.
This is true.
Order of elements is a set is not predictable.
This is false. They are predictable.
Statement A and B are correct.
This is true. They are correct. This is very simple. There is only one answer which is wrong here, and this is number C. A and B are correct, so they are not the right answer, because the right answer is what is wrong. And C is correct because A and B are correct. So it's very simple. It's C. Let me just vote for it right here. And look at that. People are voting for the right answer. All of the people that voted, you know what? All of them until now voted for 3, which is the order of element C is not predictable as wrong. Because it is predictable.
Very credible, very credible. The Baruch is leading people through this desert of Java code. Yes.
And of course, the correct answer is C. And my answer to you will be, where is my puzzler?
Oleg replied D.
It's a different.
Oh my God, Oleg, come on. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
I remember that you promised not to trust me anymore, but this is obvious, man.
Yes. since it's in November, we do have Guy Fawkes here. Yeah, and actually what happened is here, so when we using hash set, which is backed by hash map, hash set backed by hash map, and every time we add, we do put. And simply, like, if it's there, it's there.
Yeah,
Now,
no, yeah,
so
you know
what
this guy. Yeah, I was very happy to see that all of you or most of you answered the right question, because it means that you know how the hash set works, and it's a solid Java knowledge. Great work, guys. But now here's a twist.
Here's the twist, and interesting that we usually know that to improve security or something, every time when we're reading every release notes of every product, and we know that there's security. What would be more secure if you upgrade the major version of Java? So let's stick to the Java 9 and see how
the best protection against Russian hackers is updating Java 9.
The banks, they're updating the Java 9, so now Russian hackers trying to execute same techniques, but in this case, they use a new factory method, the new utility method called a set of, that will generate pretty much same, or at least we expecting the same, right? So, and the results, the questions are also the same. Order set is ordered is predictable, order of element set is not predictable, and the statements in B are correct. So which from that is wrong?
Yeah, so what I see is a very nice battle with technology depth on the side of the Russian hackers. They clean up their code a little bit. Since we are now in Java 9, we can use this very nice factory method set off instead of constructing those very weird code that we used to do. So I don't see how it's changed. What's created is the same set. It's still ordered by hash code, and I vote for exactly the same, which was number 3. And I'm the only one who's voting number 3, and I guess that's because people got how puzzlers work by now.
Perhaps.
So we're waiting for Oleg to
I personally voted for the response B. The order is predictable across multiple runs of the JVM on the same machine.
Claiming that it's not true anymore.
Yeah,
it was true in Java 8, and it's not true in Java 9.
Yes. So
yeah, exactly, because of the set off.
We will give you word. Wait a second. We'll give you word after. So, Baruch, can we see the right answer, please?
Of course, and the right answer is B, as Oleg suggested. So that's the proof. That's the proof, of course. Viktor, what did you do here?
So if you haven't seen, I don't know why you haven't seen some of the previous virtual Java meetings, you probably know that in Java 9 there is a nice tool called JShell was introduced. So JShell allows you to execute some of the Java code, arbitrary Java code, and from your command line. So in this case, JShell emulates our one single process of Java process. So this is why we kind of using Echo and some of the Unix tools, wizardry, so to pass this kind of code to JShell. JShell will execute it, and after that it will exit. So as you can see, during multiple runs of the JVM, order is not predictable anymore. However, we also did this to demonstrate you one interesting point here, is that it's very important to understand that yes, in this video we see a very unfortunate robber who was, or it's a developer who was trying to rely on order of set in the JVM.
So Oleg, back to you. What's going on? Why suddenly the order is unpredictable?
That is an implementation detail, and that is by design. So it was done specifically to sets, and the implementation of the collection that is returned by the factory method set off so it's not a hash set, it's a specific immutable set, and the order is randomized based on machine run. So within one run, the order of the set will be the same, but across multiple runs, there is some randomness involved. So And it was done specifically for people not to rely on the set being ordered.
That's a very good observation. And just to complete your answer, why would anyone do that on purpose?
I have no idea. Like to mess with people,
yeah,
so people wouldn't write bad code.
Here you go. That's the right answer. Well, set has a definition, mathematical definition, which promises that set is unordered, as all of us probably know. And it turns out that set in Java was ordered because it relied on some predictable algorithm of hashing, and people started more and more to rely on this order, which by definition shouldn't be guaranteed. So what the author of Java 9 did, they actually screw up this order on purpose, so you stop rely on the unordered order of set.
And Oleg also right when he mentioned that it's not hash set anymore at this particular point when you use a set of method.
We also have a very observant comment in the Slack channel. How the option D can be true is if it says statement A and B are correct and B is wrong, so D is also wrong.
Yeah, but logic is hard, we admit.
That's it. Either typo in the slides or typo in the poll.
I see there's some very interesting the puzzler coming, and I guess the Baruch is a huge fan of Jigsaw, so this is why he has all sorts of. Please,
yeah, no,
my friend.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. Java 9, one of my favorite, and I do air quotes that you couldn't see here. One of my favorite features is Project Jigsaw, and this is why I have a very nice puzzler about it. So, which of the following statements about Jigsaw is correct? First, if you convert your application to a module, class path dependencies will still be resolved correctly. Second, if one of the dependencies was converted to a module, you have to declare it in a module info in order to use it. Number 3, once you added the module info to your project, you have to declare the dependencies twice, in your class path and in the module info. And number 4, none of the above statements are correct. So,
okay. So I think
Oleg, we need the answers in the in the channel, and I know it's a lot of typing, so maybe you just do A, B, C, D, and they will read it from screen.
Yeah. So I will just cover some of my logic observation. So I think the idea of introducing modules is that you need to this problem with class path hell and stuff like that. And I think when you define the module info, your class path would be resolved correctly. So I would think that it's a very legitimate statement, which is very, very correct. Other things are thinking other are making life of Java developers more complicated. So I don't know, like, why would people introduce this kind of like a new and cool technology to make things more complicated? I don't know.
Because it's Java?
Maybe because life it's too good to be good, so you need to make other people miserable. But I believe in unicorns and a piece in every peer. So I think once you start using modules, you will class path hell, so everything would be resolved correctly.
Yeah. I like your laugh, Oleg, and I still wait for your vote to kind of close it and reveal the correct answer.
Excellent. I don't think any of those are true. None of them.
Here you go. Both Simon and you.
I don't believe into the A answer that the class path dependence will be resolved correctly. I don't believe in B answer because the class path is not dead, surprisingly. So you should be able to use dependencies as usual. I cannot parse C, but it's a long answer, so it should be false as well. There should be a catch.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
so
okay. So here you go. Piotr that kind of wiped us with our logic troubles in the previous answer was just on spot here. There is not a lot of explaining to do. This is how it works by the spec. At the moment, at least, you need to declare all your dependencies. When you modularize your application, you need to declare all your dependencies twice, both in the new module info descriptor, but also in the class pass. And of course, the good news are that the build tools take care of that for us. Both Gradle and Maven and probably others construct correctly the class pass and the module info for us from a normal declaration of dependencies, being it dependencies tag or dependencies closure.
yeah, so the build tools got us covered when we were in this the class pass hell. Now they also got us covered when we're in this module info / plus class pass hell as well. So
yeah, and
as I assumed automatic modules were when you said converted to a module, I assumed you meant automatic modules as well.
No. We actually meant that when you actually migrate to modules like manually and add module info deliberately to your project. Yeah. I don't know that. I know that people are not doing that, and that's probably the right way to go. But if you are among those who want to experiment, this is what you will experience.
yeah, so a little bit frustrating.
So, Vic, do you want to do another one, or should we go to conclusions now? It's up to you.
I think we can do another one because it's too epic not to do.
True that.
Yes, so we need to go on the very high note, and we will go with the expendables. You can never go wrong with childhood heroes. So, for those of you who have seen our season 1 of the puzzlers, you probably know that we have very interesting puzzler about the expendables there. But here it is. So
iteration through expendables.
Yeah. So if you remember in the movie, all the bad guys were trying to kill our heroes. So this is how we model this code. So we have a list of our expendables. We have collection of our expendables. I'm sorry. And in this collection, we acquire an iterator. In Java 8, we have the method called for each remaining that will accept a function that you can apply for each remaining element in the collection. So we take the we move this stuff through iterator, through our collection, and we're getting certain set of results. So I would be particularly interested in if there would be potentially one of the results more.
No, but I mean, you covered all the options. What
There should be one more. Maybe everything is correct. No,
that doesn't make any sense. You realize that it
yes,
cannot
but
be
Java puzzlers. Welcome.
It cannot
Puzzlers.
be all the answers are correct because you either removed them or you didn't. A and C cannot be correct in the same time. So this is a very, very strange option.
Okay, so
but Oleg, we need your help here editing the poll.
Yep. If you want option 5, all answers are correct. Option E, just type that letter into the chat.
Oh, okay, let's do that.
That's simpler because I don't want to delete the poll with the options.
Okay, all right. So Victor, let me go through the code here and try to understand what actually happens. So we have an iterator here, and we call this method for each remaining, which, since we didn't even begin, all of them are remaining. So we're going to hit each and every one of them. And then we have E, which is our expendable as a variable. And we kind of not doing anything with it. But then we have, we actually ask if there are more. And if there are more, we moved to the next, and then we remove it, which is fine. And I would say we just kill them all. So I definitely vote for A, which is number 1 in our poll.
Okay.
That will be my option.
Okay.
I trust Baruch. That's
I see.
logic.
Okay, Oleg and Baruch, they were placed their votes. Okay.
Okay, and here we already see explanations. So Ishan or Aishan probably vote for 3, and yes, he did, and he explains that we removed elements from iteration and not from the correction. But first, let's see the right answer, right? How about
let's see the right answer?
How about the answer that no one voted for, and it is E?
That is not possible.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm glad to see your reaction to this, Oleg, because it's definitely not possible. So, although no one voted E, however, no one voted E, anyone wants to try to reason what the hell is going on?
I think it's going to be a little bit.
It's a question to Simon. Simon is the best equipped to answer this.
I can't see how this makes sense either in those options or in Java. So,
the thing is,
how you can kill them all and they all survived.
In the very beginning, when I was explaining this puzzler, I actually misspoke, and I misspoke when I called the list, and after that I said it's collection. So think about the collection as collections interface. However, there are different implementation of the collections. So if you think about this, when it depends on what exactly, don't really do that. However, if you will use different implementation of collection and pass through this code, you will see different results. Can you, Baruch, list all the variants?
Yeah, and we have Stefan that actually got it right after we get that hint about polymorphism of the collections. Yes, different implementations of list, and you were just fine calling it list because they are all list, actually behave differently in those circumstances. And the really screwed up portion of this is double iteration. Right, so we have this remaining for each remaining method, which kind of an iteration of itself. But then inside, I use the old iterator to move among that as well. We have double iteration. Sometimes it overlaps, sometimes it doesn't, depending on implementation, and it's really, really, really screwed up.
Yeah, you
yes,
did.
But really, it's a bad code. So you don't want to mess with the internals. Either you use one approach, stick to one approach for each remaining passes. I guess it's pretty much a very safe way to deal with the results. But when you're trying to move around with the double iteration, you are just asking for trouble. We have different implementation, and the iterators in the different cases implemented different. Now, I guess to the conclusion, right, Baruch?
Right. So let's talk a little bit about conclusions, and the conclusions are Spider-Man, which basically means with great power comes great responsibility, and that means we'll make a pause before the conclusions, because Martin here asked a great question. What about concurrent modification exception? Why we never get out one of those? And the answer is because we did nothing wrong to cause concurrent modification exception. Remember, we removed the elements properly from the iterator. We never touched the collection directly, and that's the beauty of this puzzler, and I would say the sickness of this puzzler. So, yeah. Martin, thank you for this question, and we both smile because how awesome this this puzzler is.
And the thing is, with concurrent modification exception, I guess Martin saw the previous season because we love the concurrent modification exception in the different languages, starting from Groovy and then Java and every season of Puzzler has it or had it.
The fun part is that we always do this iteration puzzler, and it actually never ends up with concurrent notification exception. So that's another one why in which it didn't end up with concurrent notification exception, but now for a completely sick and different reason. So back to the conclusions, Java becomes more powerful. Because Java 8, Java 9, all those bring new powerful constructs, and of course the most significant here is Java 8 with lambdas and strings and streams, and with that comes great power, which means more and more ways to successfully shoot yourself in the foot. So don't do that, and there are very simple ways to not doing that. First, don't write code that looks like our puzzlers. Don't do any of what we did.
Don't write bad code. Write good code.
Oh, this is easy, right? You just write good code instead of bad, and that's that's how you do it. Comment all the tricks. Sometimes it's very funny to do something like that. So let's say you want
to do something
like
very nice, like with
let's say
lambdas.
Let's say you want to impress your colleagues with how you remove only the odd elements in collections and write something like previous code. Well, the problem is that you are going to read this code in some time, in half a year. And then what you will probably do after reading this code is building a time machine, going back in time and kill the current you. And since you don't want to be killed by your future you, don't leave this code without any comment. Comment to it, mention the puzzlers, it will be very nice, but if you attempted to do some tricks, comment them. Sometimes it's just a bug, and we had this discussion.
In this code, in these puzzlers, we didn't have a bugs. We thought that
I think we did. I vote for the -42 drain as a bug.
Yeah, bug at least in documentation. Yes.
Java is not prone to bugs, especially the latest editions, because the latest versions, because the changes are so big, and if you remember the pressure on releasing those, they might did some sacrifices in terms of quality. So there are some bugs in Java 8. There are some bugs definitely in Java 9. So beware of those as well.
Yes, since we mentioned in the very beginning that our buddy and the contributor to this Java puzzlers, Tagir, works in the, I think, any doubts, one of the best IDEs in the company who builds like the best tools. He knows the stuff, and the people who work on this IDE, they actually, it's their bread and butter to find like buggy code and provide tools to analyze this code and provide suggestions for a bad code. So if we would run any of these pieces of the code in IDEs like IntelliJ, or I'm sure Eclipse has a similar set of plugins, done. So
yeah, Victor, you cannot be both assertive and politically correct in one sentence. You cannot say without doubt one of the best, right? Because it doesn't make any sense, and it actually is without doubt the best. So we're all good. It is the best idea, and Tagir actually find those bugs when he implements those inspections. So if you just take those bugs, paste them in IntelliJ, boom, sorry, those puzzlers, no puzzlers for you. A very good comment here about find bugs and spot bugs. They are of course relevant if you don't have the luxury of working in IntelliJ IDEA, or you want to provide additional layer of protection in your CI server to find more bugs in your code. Using one of those tools is absolutely a great idea. In CI, in Eclipse, in other IDEs like NetBeans, you probably should use one of those tools. read the manual, right? Super important. You saw a lot of puzzlers which were solved by showing you the documentation. Of course, Java language specification is not very fun reading, but you know what? That's your job. Go ahead and read it by now already.
Yeah, you need to understand that it's not everything that you can solve with lambda streams. They're nice constructs that were introduced in language, but however, just do not use them for the sake of using lambda streams. Sometimes having number one, right, readable code is more important than using like a cool syntax and the stuff that you actually can do with it. So just do not abuse it. Use it.
So yeah, of course, we just got started. As I mentioned, season 3 is already in the makings, and your contributions are more than welcome. So if you have any puzzlers that you encountered, please, by all means, send us to us at puzzlers@jfrog.com. And if they make into our new seasons, you will get, of course, notable mention. And since we do those puzzlers multiple times and in different conferences, and of course end up with massive explosion of virtual JAG, you will become famous on contributing those puzzlers. So please do. Show notes, you can go to jfrog.com/show notes and find the previous run of the Java puzzlers there with what we didn't get into, and some links to the explanations of those puzzlers, the slides, the video. Well, it's virtual JAG, it's already there, of course. All the links. You can vote for this talk, etc., etc. Well, Rafael, again, virtual JAG not very relevant, but if you did like it, by all means, please praise us on Twitter. Just to remind you, Java Puzzlers NG and VJAG are the official hashtags. And this is Viktor Gamov, @Gamusa over the internets.
This is JBaruch from JFrog, JBaruch over internets and everywhere in the world.
If you didn't like it, our feedback, your feedback is also very, very important to us. So yeah, just send it there, please. Yeah, don't hold it back. Don't hold it back.
Thank you very much, guys. It was a very interesting session. I enjoyed it very much personally. I do think that to actually learn from it, I'll have to rewatch it. But it was a very good entertainment, and it was definitely piquing my curiosity. So I learned at least one thing about Jigsaw and modules, I think. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having us. Thank you for inviting us. Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Oleg, for things what you do with this virtual community. I guess it's an extremely important thing, and already you guys know this, and you're getting recognition about this, and the people around the world who cannot attend or don't want to travel to the conferences, they can attend the virtual JAG sessions and learn new things.
Yeah, we are huge fans of virtual JAG. Thank you very much again for having us. And I guess people need to go to their work, their families. So we will leave you with that. Thank you very much again for having us.
Thank you for being here. It's excellent. People, everyone watching on YouTube, if you have questions about the puzzles, just go and hit Viktor or Baruch on Twitter. They will happily respond, or check out the show notes. Maybe there are a link to the explanation, and stay tuned for the more virtual JAG sessions. I have a rumor that the upcoming one will be about maybe Kotlin.
Oh, wow.
But I don't have any details. Again, thanks again. It was great seeing you here. Thanks everyone watching. See you next time.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Bye. Thank you.